Hello again. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about the part of this life that people don't say out loud, the part that makes them hesitate. Every time I tell someone what I'm doing, they say the same thing. It sounds amazing. And then comes the question, usually something like, won't you get lonely? Or what happens if something goes wrong? And honestly, I get it. This sounds like fun, but right after that, your mind goes straight to everything that could go wrong. And that's different for everyone. Most people think this kind of life is about taking risks. As much as I enjoy adventure, I am also a planner. So I went the opposite direction. I tried to remove every possible risk that I could think of, because, like it or not, there are always things that pop up. My strategy? Use AI as my co pilot. Don't worry, I haven't been assimilated. Well, at least not yet. I wanted to add a quick side note here. That is this: I don't plan on this becoming talking head content. The kind where I use an AI avatar to speak for me, and you never know if this is a real person or not. While photos may be AI generated, as most of them here are, that is simply to give you something interesting to look at while I talk, so I don't bore you to death. I don't plan on using AI avatars to lure people in with a pretty face. No AI generated voice so tuned you'd think that I could sing my way across the country. Just me figuring this out as I go. I want this to feel real, like you're along for the ride. However, since I'm not really fond of seeing myself on camera, it might be fairly rare that you actually see my face. So if you do get to see it, good luck, and may the odds ever be in your favor. Anyhow, for the last 6 months, I've been using AI as a planning assistant, running through scenarios, edge cases, things I'd probably miss on my own. Not to worry, I'm not about to fall in love with a chatbot. We're not quite there yet. Although, surprisingly, they can be decent company. At this point, it's more like my little buddy who knows about just about everything. Because if I was going to do this, I wasn't going to guess. You'd be surprised how often it catches things that I wouldn't, like routes that look fine on a map, but aren't great when you're towing something like a trailer. And that's really what this comes down to for me. I'm not trying to eliminate every problem, I'm trying to make them manageable. Because when I start thinking about this, there were a lot of questions. So let's answer a few of them. One, physical challenges. How do I handle the physical side with everything I've been through? I've had multiple major surgeries, and so that's one of the things that I think about the most. And I'm not getting any younger, because if something is heavy, awkward, or goes wrong, that's where things can get really frustrating really fast. For me, the answer is the trailer itself. It can hitch itself, it can level itself, and I can back it into a spot with an iPad, kind of like having my own 25-foot remote control car. So instead of wrestling with equipment, I'm removing the parts that would wear me down. That was one of the big reasons why I chose this trailer to begin with. Number two, cost. How much is this going to cost me? Honestly, I don't know exactly, and that used to bother me, because not knowing the number feels like a risk. But I've done the work to get close. I've mapped out major expenses, and I'm using things like Thousand Trails to keep costs predictable. It's not about knowing every dollar, it's about not being surprised by them. If my AI assistant didn't let me down, I might actually be saving money. The monthly payment on the trailer alone is almost half of what I was paying in rent. Number three, where do I stay? Where am I going to stay and for how long? Because the idea of just showing up somewhere and hoping it works out is not really my style. While I love the idea of boondocking, I would like to kind of get familiar with an area before I just assume that there's going to be a spot available when I show up. So I built a system. Thousand Trails gives me the anchor points, Harvest Hosts fills in the gaps. I plan to stay about 2 to 3 weeks at each stop and explore the area from a central location. I like the idea of using my truck to explore without having to pack everything up every few days. And with gas prices the way that they are, this should help keep costs down too. So I'm not guessing, I've got places to land. Number five, what if you forget something? So, what if you do forget something and you actually need it? Because no matter how much you plan, you're going to miss something. Like a lot of people, I had a house full of stuff I wasn't using. So I started by paring it down and putting the rest into storage. The plan for the first year is to stay on the West Coast and loop back through Utah every couple months. I have a feeling I'll be picking some things up, but more than that, I'll probably be dropping more off. One thing I've seen over and over is that people tend to over prepare for this lifestyle and then realize they don't need nearly as much as they thought. So I'll just adjust as I go. So none of this is perfect, but it's enough to get started. At some point, I realized something. I wasn't just planning a trip, I was trying to remove uncertainty from my life. And if you're wired like me, that can turn into analysis paralysis really fast. You start thinking about everything that could go wrong, and before you know it, you never actually go. So I didn't eliminate uncertainty, I prepared for it, like the Eagle Scout that I am. You can reduce risk, but you can't eliminate it. At some point, you stop preparing and you decide to go anyway. If there's a part of this that you want to see more of, or something you've always wondered about, drop it in the comments. I'll be happy to get ideas for future videos. Talk to you soon.